people of YouTube, and welcome to another Riku the Martyr anime review. This time we'll be covering an anime that was quite popular on the King of Hate forums for a time, Rosario+Vampire. Rosario+Vampire? Rosario+Vampire? Rosario and Vampire? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? Let's just get this started. Alrighty. Rosario+Vampire. Basically, it follows the plot of a human boy named Sukune Aono. I believe that's how you pronounce it, because that's how I pronounced it countless times. Who basically, through some mysterious means, aka his father apparently randomly found a invitation to a school or forum or something from a random old man. Yes, let's go with that. By the way, great idea. Let's just accept a random invitation brought by an old man to go to and send our son to this random school that we don't know anything about, which is known as Yokai Academy. And if you know what yokai translates into, which I'm pretty sure translates into demon, and for those of you who don't know, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it does, it's a school for monsters. So we have a human boy going to an all-monster school. Yes, this is going to be a great anime. And it actually is for what it's worth. It's pretty good. The plot, it's basically that, because there's no straight on from point A to point B. It's not like Code Lyoko, where they all need to fight this computer virus named Xana or whatever it is. I don't remember. I haven't watched it in 5 years, or not even 5 years. Over that. That's another story. But there's no like set dead on plot. Is my point. It's basically him going through high school as a human in an all monster school. And that's about it up until the endings of both seasons. I will be reviewing both seasons, by the way, and I'm going to give them separate ratings for the sake of this review here, because they really are parallel. Ugh. Mixing up my words here, but yeah, you get my point. They're pretty different. Anyway, so let's move on here. Like I said, there is no real plot other until the very beginning, and I mean the very, very beginning, and the end of both seasons. The end of both seasons, there's usually one or two, I think it's like two episodes for the second season, and 3 episodes for the last season, of which it actually kicks in a plot. It's kind of like Kaze no Stigma, or what was the other anime? Crap, I can't remember what the other anime was that had the syndrome, but Desert Punk, that's it. Or Desert Punk, to where there's no really determined plot. Now, in terms of how it works, it does have a bit of a, not really a syndrome, but like a pattern with the first season, to where basically what will happen is, in the very first episode, Sukune goes to school, and he meets, the secondary main character, main character, I don't know. There's like 5 main characters. Now I think about it, there are 5 main characters. But, there are 5 main characters, and he is being the first one. The second one, he meets a vampire named Mocha Akashiya. And basically what will happen is, throughout the later episodes, after he meets Mocha, there'll be some other girl, and yes, it's a girl. Spoiler alert, this is a harem anime. Okay, not spoiler, but you get it. It's a harem anime, so there'll be a girl who causes trouble between either Mocha or Sukune, and then stuff will happen, unless I get revealed too much, and eventually a set person will become a main character for the first 3 episodes, if you include the first one, otherwise then it's just 2. And then in like the 6th or 7th episode. With that, let's segue into the characters actually. Like I said, the main character is Sukune Aono, a human going to an all-monster school. His personality, he's not really a coward, but he's that guy, he's like, I guess you could somewhat compare him to Krillin in DBZ. He'll be there, and he'll want to fight, but if he does, he utterly gets destroyed, which makes sense. Like, Krillin, I'm not sure if he had an excuse. I will admit I don't follow DBZ anymore. I don't follow it that much anymore. But in all actuality, he actually has an excuse. I mean, he's a human in an all-monster school. And with that, his voice actor, it manage to pull it off? Yes, but I honestly found his voice a bit annoying, because his voice actor, I meant to look it up before this, but his voice actor just, it makes him sound too cowardish, too young in a way. It just, I don't like his voice actor. And I don't know if anybody else is this way, but I won't count it off. I'm just pointing that out there. His voice actor doesn't really fit to me. Well, it does to a point, but that's that. Then we come to, I'm going to save her for last. The next character to come into the anime to become a main character, Kura something. I don't know all the last names. I don't remember many of the last names. But Kurumu, she is, well, she's the one who brings the ecchi into the anime. She's a succubus. And for those of you who don't know, a succubus is basically, think vampire, but asexual vampire. Basically, they would seduce men, and I don't know about women. I know basic succubus knowledge, let's do that. They would seduce men in their dreams and suck their life force in the process. So yeah, you can picture how her episode went. Her voice actor fits fairly well, and I remember her voicing someone else. I know the voice actor for her, but I can't think of it right off the top of my head. Her character overall, it fits a succubus, I will admit. She may be a bit too, flaunting of her feminine wiles, I guess you could say, but she's a succubus, so it kind of works. I guess it kind of makes logical sense, so there's that. Her attitude overall, she's a bit more outgoing than the rest of the cast, I would say. Which, again, makes a bit of sense. But she's more outgoing, she's more like, she's a bit more let's get moving than everybody else. But then later in the anime, she kind of contradicts she shows that she actually can show emotion. Like, she, probably out of the most of the people, shows probably either, if not the most, one of the most characters to show emotion in the anime. She's overall, she doesn't have much of a backstory, but she is well built for the present tense in the cast. She does, however, have a rivalry with a witch/witchling. I'm pretty sure she's classified as a witchling, but she's a witch, let's be fair here. With the person who brings both the Yuri and the lolly factor into the anime. Her name is Yukari Sendao. I actually remember her last name. She is probably, if I were to guess, about 8 years old. Like, she's young compared to everybody else, and for once, the anime explains why there's such a young person in this harem. Like, it's explained that she was so smart that she managed to fit it. I just realized I did suicide symbol. Whatever. That she actually she was so smart that she actually skipped ahead into this high school. Excuse me. And it's plausible. It's not entirely common, but it's plausible why she's there. She, of course, would have a huge rivalry with Kurumu throughout the anime, all over breast size, or at least mostly over breast size. That and the fact that she's so young compared to everybody else. So yeah, in terms of character, her voice actor fits, definitely. Like, she manages, I don't know how old the voice actor is, I should have researched voice actors for this, but don't know how old her voice actor was exactly, but she does at least manage to make her Yukari fit her age. In terms of emotion, she mostly has 2 or 3 emotions. Either neutrality/happiness, I kind of put them into both. Sadness or rage, most of which she shows neutral happiness to rage. However, she does contradict herself. In her first episode, she's built to be like a prankster, like somebody who picks on everybody else because they pick on her because she's so young compared to everybody else. But all of a sudden, she turns into this, like, calm, normal person. It's kind of contradictory, but I guess one could argue that she transferred that rage/pranksterness into Kurumu. So yeah, there's that. Then we come to probably, well, no, let's go in order of appearance other than Mocha. Spoiler, I'm saving her for last. Not a spoiler, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm saving Mocha for last for a reason. But in terms of order of appearance, if memory serves, next you'll find he's not really a main character, but he does play a fairly big role in season 1. Gin Toriyama, I think his last name was. But he's a bit he'd be what I call the Devon character. He's the perverted one who's president of the newspaper club, which everybody is in. All the main characters are in. Yeah, all of them. And he's the perverted one, and he's a werewolf. And I like what they do with the werewolves in this anime. They made it so they more or less had a speed factor or a power factor, which I think would be more common for werewolves, but I'm not going to get into that whole mythos. And with that, that pretty much sums up Gein's character. Without spoiling anything, but he does play a somewhat large role in the latter part of Season 1. Then they completely pretty much throw him away for Season 2. I don't even think he made an appearance, but he might have, but I never noticed. Or at least he didn't play a big enough role for me to notice. He was a bit of a minor / main character. He's one of those characters who, like, they'll throw in for plot, and then they'll completely take him away later. That's pretty much it. Let's start naming off random minor characters. Yeah. Next will be the crowd. Well, I classify her as crowd favorite because on the forum she was the crowd favorite. Mizori, I don't remember her last name either. She's a snow girl, or as I call her, the ice witch. She basically just controls ice and snow. So I guess I would classify her as the Ice Witch, but for the sake of this, I'll call her the Snow Girl. She's the crowd favorite. And the main reason I think that is probably because she's the closest thing to the emo character. Everybody seems to love the emo character. Like in Kingdom Hearts, Riku tends to be the crowd favorite. In freaking Final Fantasy, Cloud seems to be the crowd favorite. It's all like that. Or, I'm probably just pissed off a bunch of Final Fantasy fans, because I honestly don't play much. I play the classics, I didn't play the later ones. But you get my point. The emo character tends to be the crowd favorite. Mizori, rather. It's Longo, or whatever. Whatever, I don't care anymore. She is the closest thing to an emo character. She's the shy one. She's the one she's quite literally a stalker, and she calls herself the stalker. She is the one who is pretty much just goes with everything, doesn't really try to object that much, up until Season 2 a bit, but that's another story. She's the crowd favorite because of this, which I can actually see. She probably is my favorite character too, except for maybe Mocha, but that's another story. So, there's Mizori in a nutshell. She's the shy one, she's the closest thing to an emo one, but she is pretty cool, because for an Ice Witch, she actually does manage to pull off some pretty cool attack moves. Like, her entire strategy is to freeze the opponent, which works. Anyway, yeah. So that's all the main characters, and everybody except for Gein is in love with Sukune, all for different reasons. Now, let me just check here. Mizori, Gein, Kurumu, Yukari, Sukune. Okay. In Season 2, there's one other character that gets introduced. And that is Mocha Akashia's sister, Kokoa. Or Coco. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but I'm going to call her Kokoa. It's her sister, who doesn't appear in Season 1 at all. Appears at the very start of Season 2, and gets completely ditched. Not really completely ditched, but like, her character then becomes useless. Like, the entire start of Season 2 was basically that Kokoa wanted to kill Mocha because, okay, I'll get into this now. Because Mocha Akashia and Inner Mocha, she has two different forms. I'll explain this when talking about her. She's in love with one form of Mocha. Well, not really in love with, but like, it was her sister, so that's the sister she knew. And then there's this other Mocha who she blames for taking away the other Mocha, which, again, I'll explain later. And thus she wants to kill one Mocha, but have the other one. It's a bit hard to explain, but there's that. Her character plays really no role up until the final episodes, because otherwise she's just, like, there. She's not really doing anything specific. Yeah. So that's Kokoa. Now, on to the main part of the characters, Mocha Akashia. Hang on. Yeah, Mocha. Now, Mocha herself has two sides to her, actually. There's the human Mocha, who is, well, I'm going to call her I'm going to call her Human Mocha, but in reality she's mostly known as Outer Mocha. But the thing is, she has a rosary across her neck, which it kind of acts like, for those of you who play Kingdom Hearts, sorry, I'm adjusting my bandana here. For those of you who play Kingdom Hearts, it's kind of like Riku's blindfold. If she takes it off, she becomes the Inner Mocha, which is the not huge, the vampire ass-kicking death machine. And then when it's on, this Human Mocha, excuse me, had a monster for this. There's the Outer Mocha, when the rosary's on, that is docile, sweet, cute, funny, whatever you want to describe her with. And that's the Mocha who fell in love with Sukune. The Inner Mocha kind of, well, she contradicts herself later in the anime, which kind of ticks me off, but the Inner Mocha doesn't really care. See, with Mocha, she goes through two phases. The Inner Mocha is all the lovey-dovey, really cares about Sukune. Then there's the Inner Mocha, who basically just gets called upon just to beat everybody down. Yet later, in Season 2, she tries to show some compassion for Sukune. It blatantly doesn't work, but it's just kind of contradictory to her character, which really confused me. Because Inner Mocha showing compassion doesn't work if you follow the anime enough, but that's another story I'm not going to get into unless I could start confusing people. Yeah. Trying to see here. Yeah, that's pretty much Mocha in a nutshell. Her character, if it would either be her or Kurama who shows the most emotion. And I mean the Outer Mocha, not the Inner Mocha. Let that be said. Now, yeah, that's everything. Now, in terms of the plot, the anime has a good number of problems, but there is no real plot. Let's be fair here. One problem I have with the overall anime itself is that like I said before, Inner Mocha is the one who beats everybody down. Inner Mocha is the one who doesn't care and will kick you in the face. Which, by the way, what I love about this anime probably the most is that if you've ever watched like Bleach or Dragon Ball Z, some of the fights will last like 5 episodes. Rosario+Vampire, they literally point this out. This little bat narrator guy, I can't remember his name now. He actually does have a name, but this little bat narrator guy, who basically, he will come in and say how long the fight took. And I think the longest one lasted like 5 minutes, and that was like the last episode. But like, the fights don't even last a full episode. They last at the fights usually are at the very end of the episode, and they close it out. That's why I love this anime. Basically it's saying, how do you solve all your problems? Roundhouse kick to face. That's how you solve your problems. And that's probably the best way to solve a problem ever, but that's getting somewhere I don't need to go. But yeah, so the fights don't last that long. The anime is mostly for comedy's sake, which it pulls off fairly well, I will say. I did laugh a good number of times in the anime. It does, in Season 1, it tries to pull off an ecchi factor, which doesn't work. But overall, it's kind of mostly the fact that it mostly follows a human going through a monster high school doing all the traditional high school things. Except for a few other episodes, and it's slowly building up the character, or at least it's building up Mocha's character. Like in one episode you figure out what vampires are weak to. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Mocha's a vampire. Thus Rosario+Vampire. If I have said it, well, I'm just saying it again. Like, it explains what vampires are weak to in the anime. It's basically going through Sukune trying to survive with 4 girls all in love with him while he just wants to be in love with Mocha. Now, in the end of Season 1, it starts alluding to this whole ordeal where Sukune is in trouble that I'm not going to spoil. You know what, it's not anything important. Where Sukune, it's somewhat revealed to where not saying it. not saying it. There's a problem with doing my interviews. Where Sukune gets into trouble and all the girls try to save him. Oh, one character I forgot. Duh. I'm an idiot. There's a second witch who gets, who comes into play at, like, the last fifth from last episode, maybe. I don't know. She gets revealed late in the anime, whose name is Ruby. Now, this character I have a problem with. In season 1, she comes in and she's, like, supposed to be, like, the guardian of this, like, sunflower garden or whatever. And she's supposed to be guardian of it, and she is, like, she serves as, like, supreme witch, whatever. Yada, yada, yada. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. But later on, she does become not even a main character, not even a minor character, like, somewhere in between. And you can have, she had so much potential, like, she pretty much, she's the reason why season 2 happened, to put it, ambiguously. Yet in season 2, they almost completely threw her away. They made her character just this repetitive, like, she's just there to be like an assistant, basically. She assists everything. Up until the final episode where she reveals a secret, and then she's gone. That she had so much potential from season 1, yet in season 2, just tossed her character away. I quite liked her character when they build her up, but then they just toss her away. It's just annoying. I hate it when animes do that. Anyway, so there's my rant of the day. Get on with it, the plot. It shows, with the fights at the end, usually if it's a bad episode, the fight at the end will make it worth it. If it's a good episode, fight at the end is just sprinkles on top. That's just that with season 1. Season 2? Somebody found the ecchi switch and put it in the high position. Season 2 is probably the reason why Rosario+Vampire is considered an ecchi anime. Just somebody found that dial and turned it way up. Season 2 gets Desert Punk's problem. Desert Punk was a good anime, but it was drowned in this whole etchiness. Rosario+Vampire, it turns almost into green, actually. Well, not almost turns into it, but, like, it gets just too far. It goes too far most of the time. Some of the stories are pretty ridiculous, etc., etc. Well, so, like, season 1, it went through daily high school problems. Like, at one point, Sukune was failing a final, and then he ended up getting a tutor, wannabe tutor from Mocha, then this weird sex-crazed Gordon math fetish woman, yes, you heard me right, comes in and tries to tutor him instead, and it goes from there. Season 2, I don't know how schools work in Japan, but I'm pretty sure nothing that happened in season 2 would happen. Like, it goes from plausible, actual high school problems to just things that would only happen in a monster school, which really lost a lot of feel for me in the anime. Like, it just lost a lot of its kick. Like, most of the stories are utterly stupid. Now, up until the end, it's not that good. Like, you could watch, if I were to choose, I would watch either only the last 3 or the last 2 episodes of Rosario+Vampire Season 2. Like, if you watch Season 1, actually don't even bother with Season 2. You don't even need Season 2. You can just end it with Season 1 and you'll be perfectly fine. Now, what I've gathered from my anime guru known as Tsurugi's Flame, you may have seen him on some of the comments of my videos, there is a reason for this. The creators or writers or whatever of Rosario+Vampire Season 2, I don't know if the manga was released at the time, but they basically did what Full Metal Alchemist did, and they went off of the manga. They stopped following the manga. Like in Season 2, from what he told me, there's not really much that follows the manga other than the character of Kokoa, and even then, doesn't even follow her that well. And if they hadn't done that, it would have been a good anime. That's what he told me. It would have been a good anime had they not done that. But they did, and it drew back from the anime. Like I said, these are anime reviews, not manga reviews. And I haven't read the manga. I don't have time to read the manga, so there. Well, I've gone over time than I planned, but there was a lot of detail I had to go into for Rosario+Vampire. I'm pretty sure I covered everything I meant to. If there's anything I didn't cover that you might want me to, put it in the comments. I might either make a bonus video or just put it in the comments or whatever. I'll probably make a bonus video because I probably missed a lot, but I'm not realizing it. In terms of the anime itself, Season 1, I would give a solid 8.5. It's a pretty good anime. Like, it follows actual high school problems, and it adds the monster factor. Like, it works really well for a harem anime. Like I said, it's a harem anime, so if you don't like that, don't watch it. But it works pretty well, I would say. I'd either give it a 7.5 or a solid 8.5. Season 2, however, goes way downhill. Like, if you watch Season 1, end it there. I would highly recommend you just end it there and skip Season 2 unless you truly were an ecchi fanatic. So, I would just skip Season 2. Season 2, I'd give it a 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. I don't recommend it to most people, yet there's that small minority. And the ending, it kind of made it somewhat worth it. Like, the ending of the anime, it worked fairly well. Like, it was pretty fun, because at one point, if you watch Season 2, there's at one point where you really just want to either punch Sukune in the face, or just want him to leave. And it's fun, because at the end, I will admit, he gets his ass completely handed to him. But something happens, and I'm not spoiling that, but it turns Sukune, it really makes you start to appreciate Sukune's character a bit more. So, yeah, I'd give us all a 5.5. Watch Season 1, don't watch Season 2. Now, there are two possibilities for the next anime I review, and I will have to find an AMV after I record this and start editing it. I'm pretty sure what I want it to be, so, yeah, it's going to be this anime. So, I was Riku Light vs. Dark, wearing my bandana, with my shades, with my hat on, and that was the Rosario+Vampire anime review. Like I said, if there's anything I missed that you especially want me to cover, I'll either make a bonus video or comment on it in the comments. I was Riku Light vs. Dark, and now I bid you farewell. Here's a sneak peek at what the anime will probably be that I review next.
Don't affect me. That's right.